Where in the real world do we see negative numbers? So an example that's often used on the EOG is temperature, because temperature includes negative numbers and positive numbers. Also, often on the EOG you see elevation, so we can talk about Mount Everest or another mountain and its distance above sea level. So Mount Everest is 8.8 kilometers above sea level. We could also talk about locations below sea level. So here's sea level, right here, where the water meets the sky. It's the average level of the sea. And then this diver is 2 meters below sea level, so that's a -2. Look, this diver is 10 meters below sea level, so that says a -10. I think you get the idea. Here's another example that I see a lot of times is when you have floors in a building that they talk about. So in the United States, we normally call this floor floor 1, and then, floor 2, floor 3. And, I really honestly prefer how they do it in Europe and some other countries when we're talking about integers. Because, for example, in Italy, they would call the first floor that is above ground, they would call that floor 0. Then this would be floor 1, this would be floor 2, this would be floor 3. Okay, you get that. And then it makes it so that the levels below ground are negative numbers, so -1, -2, -3. So I thought this was a pretty interesting example, the elevator example, where as you move upwards, that's positive, and as the elevator moves downwards, that's negative. And I pulled this picture that someone took of an elevator, and look, there's a -1. I thought that was interesting. And then another example that we talk about often with integers is golf. And I want to make sure you understand this because a lot of times kids don't understand this. Par is the number of strokes a first-class player should normally require for a particular hole. So you might already know this because we live close to Pinehurst, and that's like golf mecca, where there's, a ton of people who come here to play golf. There's a ton of courses. But anyways, let me continue. Your score in golf is based on how much you are over or under par. And you want a low score because you want to be under par. So here's an example. This is a par 3 hole at Augusta. And so that means that you should be able to get the golf ball into the hole in 3 hits, or they would say 3 strokes, if you're a good player. So if you got the golf ball in the hole by hitting the ball 5 times, we'll compare that to 3. If you're supposed to get it in 3 and you got it in, you had to hit the ball 5 times, you would be 2 over par. So your score would be +2. If you got the golf ball in the hole hitting the ball 2 times, think about that compared to a par 3. They expect a good player to be able to hit it in 3 hits, but you hit it in 2 hits. So you would be 1 under par. So your score would be -1. So do you see how a negative number or a lower number is a better score? So in golf, you want a low score. So those are just some examples of integers in real life.